Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Verrill, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the Life and Times of Captain Barney Miller podcast. I'm your host, Mike White. Joining me, of course, is the rookie, Chris Dashew.
I prefer to be referred to as brother. I'm not a priest. I'm a brother.
Yeah, that's how I learned from you guys.
Right. I went to a Jesuit school. Oh, yeah, we do those.
What a surprise.
Right.
On this episode, we're talking about 3 episodes from the 6th season of Barney Miller, one of the best sitcoms ever. Yes, we're talking about The Brother, which aired October 4th, 1979, The Slave, which aired October 18th, 1979, and Strip Joint, which aired November 1st, 1979. Imagine that, an episode about a strip club. That never happens.
Right. Especially not on this show.
Yeah, we even got some familiar faces on that episode too, but we'll definitely get into that. First up, we're talking about The Brother, which does not refer to Harris. It refers to the one and only brother Tom Kelvin, played by John Christy Ewing. He is a Jesuit. Well, no, he's not a Jesuit. He's some sort of a brother. And he's in New York. They had to bunk down there on their way to Canada, is it? Or Vermont?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. They're going off, and one of his parishioners has left. Joseph Hutton, played by Gary, is it Imhoff, I'm guessing, who's a very familiar face. I think he might be the most familiar face in this episode for me. Yeah. And who can blame him? I love how the brother just keeps saying, "We're not a cult," which is kind of what a person who's in a cult would say.
Sounds like something a cult cult aficionado would say, Mike. Come on, this isn't a cult. Wait, you're drinking blood? No way. It's common.
The blood of Christ.
Right. I find this episode interesting. I think the idea of this, the brother, and then I guess it's another. It's like a soon-to-be brother, and he's like renouncing his worldly possessions, and he's going to take a vow of celibacy, and blah 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 blah. And so, of course, it's the age-old story of comes to the city and wants some ass, and that's what the entire A plot is about, is a monk who wants ass, and then Wojciechowicz essentially enables it, which I think is the funniest goddamn part of the entire episode. Is he's just like, well, wouldn't you have done that, Barney? He's like, no, I would not.
Yeah,
but that underpins the entire episode. That's the thing I actually really like about this episode, is there's this weird underpinning of this like butting of heads between Wojo and Barney. Because he's like, he's like, let me do what I want to do. Don't tell me what to do all the time, which is like very strange. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, but it's this weird through line throughout the episode. And I mean, it plays into the final joke, even this idea of like, I wouldn't have done that. Cause it's like, again, he's like, well, Barney, you're always telling me what to do and kind of chastising me for doing things my way, which I think is just projecting on Wojo's part. But I like that it is a interesting through line. It doesn't really work because Barney really isn't ever that character and never really has been in the history of this show. But Wojciechowicz being a hothead is not surprising.
No, not at all. Yeah, I agree that it kind of comes out of left field, totally. But yeah, it works for me. Yeah, it's interesting. The brother wants to have his own little Rumspringa, and Wojo is right there for him. And I mean, I'm surprised Wojo doesn't call the prostitute back and say, oh, he's free now. It's okay. Right. But he does have her number, I think.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's interesting is this kind of mirrors in a lot of ways the setup of that Jack Sue episode, the one where he almost just left. They have that like thing where it's like all of a sudden somebody is bristling at the way Barney does things, and it's like, why? Since when?
And Barney's totally perplexed.
Yeah, he's like, well, what the fuck is your problem? It's strange to me, to say the least. The setup of this episode is strange because it's again like you can force conflict in this show, but it does feel forced. It genuinely, this episode felt very forced.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was interesting too. That's the A plot, and the B plot is fucking hilarious.
It's the better part of the episode in every imaginable sense. Oh,
and it goes through the entire thing too. Like, luckily, like back when we had Fish dressing in drag, and just every single member of the old one too would have to go in drag at some point, but we had yet to see Landisberg do it. We had yet to see Dietrich in a dress, and he was more excited about it than he might have been otherwise. It was wonderful seeing him talk about the chiffon and really try to pick out the right, wrap for his dress. Oh, it was chef's kiss beautiful.
And his interactions with Ron Glass are great too, especially when he's like, "What he's like, "What do you think?" He's like, "Oh yeah." It's like, I don't get it because Steve Landisberg doesn't look terrible in a dress. No. I mean, it's a very handsome woman. Let's put it that way. But like, there are plenty of AFAB females who are in the same sense. Like a handsome woman is a term that has existed long before Steve Landisberg put on a dress. So it was like Ron Glass looked less believable in a dress. Yes. And it's like, it's weird to me because of all of the people who have been in a dress, Steve Landisberg is the one that looks the best, frankly. But they spend so much time ragging on it. I was like, what are you guys seeing that I'm not? Is it the guy's Adam's apple?
And that's the best thing. Yeah, like Harris thinks that he's really going to be ribbing Dietrich, and Dietrich's going to be all demure about stuff, but instead Dietrich is just like, oh yeah, you like these, you like the shoes.
And that is the other thing I really appreciate, is that Dietrich in every sense of the word leans into it, which obviously, I mean, I don't think there is any universe where this show exists that he isn't always leaning into things. He's always leaning into things as a character. That's like kind of part of the charm, is that he just kind of pops into frame and then pops out of frame. But it's always there's always like a point behind it. And this one, he's more at the center in this episode than he has been a lot of the time. He's normally a bit player, but a big bit player, like the third highest bit player is what it feels like sometimes.
And the C story that we have going on here, it's the return of Luger. Yay!
Finally.
It's about time, man. I was missing Luger now. And he's pretty upset because old Brownie died.
Oh, you look spiffy, Inspector. I was up to old Brownie. Oh my God, this guy's life is depressing. Like, Jesus Christ.
And then he's going through the guys that were on the original squad with him, and he's just like, I'm the only one left now, Barn. And it's like,
I mean, look, I love James Gregory. I think at this point, obviously, we've come a long way since the first season of the show, but he is always such a welcome presence, and the comedic stylings of James Gregory and what they expect from him work so well in the context of everything else that's being expected, because he's kind of that chaotic presence within the precinct.
There are times where I wonder if he's just ad-libbing everything, just because Hal Linden sometimes gets this look on his face like, what the hell are you saying?
Yes, I noticed that too. Oh, and I think there's probably some of that is that like it kind of feels like there's no way around it. I mean, again, Danny Arnold is who Danny Arnold was, and there was always a very tight ship being run. But I believe at this time, Danny Arnold wasn't in charge anymore. I believe we're in the Reinhold Weege era where he's kind of taken a step back due to his health. So I will say, I think for me, this is something I noticed, and you had mentioned it last time, and I'm going to come back to it this time. I really don't like the intro for this show now.
No.
It's atrocious. Everybody looks really strange. Like I didn't really notice it last time, but I focused on it this time because you had said it last time. Oh my God. Every single one of the kind of action freeze frame shots that they use are just like the most banal, pedantic bullshit. Like I don't get what they were going for, given how Barney walking into the precinct and that is seared in my memory. And maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia for that. But at the same time, I also just the thing with Ron Carey is so bizarre. I don't understand what's going on at all. And the Landisberg one is the only one that makes sense only because they've already done it. So it's just I've already seen this once. Everyone else is just standing at a filing cabinet and looking bizarre. And you had mentioned it last time, and I really it was when you have something pointed out to you, you can't ignore it anymore. It was like that. And I find myself watching it every time. I don't even skip it because I want to just see what I want to see every time. Maybe it's just me.
I would never skip. I don't skip the end credits either. I watch it all the way through every single time. I watch the openings. I watch the closings. If it had commercials, I'd watch the commercials.
Well, I would watch the commercials for sure, which is a super fucked up thing, given that we've spent so much time as entertainment watchers asking for them to remove them. But, alas, a commercial from 72 or 80, 81 or whenever, the entire run of this show, I kind of would like that now, to have these shows presented with a little bit of context. Outside context. I think that could be interesting. I mean, some people wouldn't vibe with it, but I mean, there are people who post YouTube videos that are hours long of just ads, just every single fucking ad known to man.
Well, I sent you, did you get that clip that I sent? That was MTV ads from, I think it was 84 or something. And there's a Landisberg commercial in there where he's on the phone to the Time Life operator and talking to us, the audience, about this great offer that's going on as he's on hold with the operator. It's just oh yeah, just a minute. And it's
I did see that. I mean, again, Steve Landisberg is just, I don't know. I mean, again, we say it every time, I feel like, at this point, but he is absolutely, at this point, my favorite part of the show. And everything that he does is funny, and everything that he does seems like it is another show, but I think him having this weirdo personality that at a lot of times kind of butts heads with everybody was a smart decision. Because it's like Fish was, right? Fish kind of butted heads with everybody, but Landisberg is way more lovable than Fish ever was, intentionally.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, at least Landisberg isn't ripping on his wife who isn't even present to defend herself.
Right, that's fair. And I don't know if Fish would wear blue eyeshadow like Steve Landisberg did.
Yeah, Landisberg really went for the makeup part of it.
Yeah, that shot where he's like standing in the doorway of Barney's office, he's like, is it the glasses? And he takes his glasses off. It's like, it wasn't the glasses. It was not the glasses. But the sincerity of Landisberg's character, like, I don't know, Dietrich, I always feel like, yes, he's annoying. Yes, he can be kind of pedantic per Barney, but he's a lovable character. And I think he obviously means well. And, he's an alien. So,
yeah. Well, what is really a shame, though, is that since he was in drag, I now am grooming little kids and diddling them. So you got to really be careful. You can't see people in drag, folks. They might read a story to you or try to just live and breathe our air. Just can't have it.
I don't know if you know this, but the easiest way to convince someone that you don't diddle kids is to sing a song about how you don't diddle kids.
Is that true?
I mean, if you sing a song about how you don't diddle kids, I'm pretty sure you diddle kids.
How many songs did Michael Jackson record about diddling kids, though? Or not diddling kids?
Did he ever say he didn't diddle kids?
That's just foolish. That's foolish.
Yeah, there's doo-doo and feces all over the wall. God. I mean, hey, that's what drag is, a slippery slope, folks. Yeah, one day you're watching RuPaul's Drag Race. The next day you're making YouTube videos and sending your underwear to children. I mean, that is the slippery slope that they talk about here. I do love that we saw a drag episode, given the current climate of everything surrounding drag. And they don't there's no trigger warning. There's no warning of anything. It's presented very matter-of-factly.
Yeah.
I guess my question to you is, because I know that this did happen, but doesn't this idea of putting male officers in drag and sending them out into the city just seem like a bad idea, though?
It seems like a horrible idea.
Okay, because I know that they keep trotting it out as a joke, and I'm sure at some point, and if we don't, because he's mentioned it, I would like to see Barney in drag. Obviously, that's the moment that we're never going to get, because I think it's already. I mean, he mentions as much to Landisberg. He's like, "Well, when I was in drag, right? We never got to see this. This feels like a shame." It's weird that they keep trotting this out, though, because it feels like something that really bad idea. Like a really dangerous idea.
Right. When they sent Wentworth out to be the undercover person, that made sense.
Right.
But to send out Fish or Chano or any of these guys, it just, I don't get it. Unless they're sending them specifically to gay areas and they want to sting the gay guys, but that's not how Barney rolls. Right. I think they're really looking for sex perverts in the park type of thing and waiting for guys to come up and try to hit on them. And I'm just like, how? Why? They're not fooling anybody.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's and for me, that is the big takeaway. It's I don't. This isn't it's never been believable. It always feels like it's for a joke, for a gag, which is perfectly fine.
Oh yeah,
but in reality, that is the worst of worst idea. It's just a really unbelievably bad idea, frankly.
Well, and I'm trying to remember the last time somebody went in drag, because it feels like quite a few seasons. I don't think that I think the last time that it was happening was when Barney was making Harris shave his mustache.
Right. And that was the beginning of last season.
Yeah. Okay. So it was all of last season after that beginning part okay. So now we've got Landisberg. He's going through it. I wonder if we'll see Ron Carey in drag, which would probably be more believable since he's a little guy versus fucking tall Landisberg going out there, because I forget how tall he is until he comes in and stands in the doorway, and you're just like, oh wow, yeah, he's much taller than Barney. He's taller than a lot of people that are in the precinct.
That woman has got a big dress on. When he walks in from the bathroom, it is kind of startling.
Yes.
Because a big dude, and that's a big dress, and that's a big wig. He has a big head, Steve Landesberg. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, when he takes his glasses off and they just like linger on him for a second, it's like, man, this guy's enjoying himself. Because like, oh my God, to get paid to do this for a living, like, oh, today we're going to have you dress up in drag. And like, and then everybody's just going to get to make jokes for an entire episode. Like, yeah, okay. Like, I feel like at this point, it's like a rite of passage on this show.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like Steve Landesberg was on the show for a season, and now he's kind of built ahead of steam. And now in the second season that he's really on the show as like a main player, they do the thing that they've done with a lot of other people, you know, Chano and Abe Vigoda and everybody else got their kind of drag moment. So finally he is. And I wonder if, in season 7, if Ron Carey will, because that would track, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And we've never seen Luger, right?
Well, never seen him in drag.
Right.
But that doesn't mean he's not doing it.
That's true.
I'm shipping Luger being gay really hard. I mean, again, the show has given us enough clues that he broke off his engagement. Okay. Like, Bonnie, I went down to this new part of New York. They got rainbow flags everywhere. I fit right in. Oh, boy.
So let's move on to The Slave, which is a story about it's a driver that gets into a car accident, and then after they arrest the driver, they find out, he's actually the personal slave of this diplomat. So we have a little bit of diplomatic immunity going on in this one, which I always appreciate.
I thought about that when he was like, he's got diplomatic immunity, Barney. And Barney just walks out and shoots him in the head. There's your diplomatic immunity.
Somebody through a fish tank. Yeah. So it's kind of nice to see, people of different color in this episode. That they're Burmese was kind of interesting as well. And then Stanley Camel shows up as Lance Parks, the kind of the government liaison, to basically be like, hey, don't cause any trouble. This guy's a diplomat. And Camel, I think he's been on the show before. He's one of these great character actors. I didn't realize until I was looking him up the other day that he passed away in 2008 because he was so ubiquitous that he's been in every TV show I've watched, it feels like. He just is always there.
And I always think of him as the character of Kaczynski from Star Trek The Next Generation. That's what I remember him from, for whatever reason. I just always, like, when he walked in, I was like, that guy should be in a Starfleet uniform for whatever reason. I just don't know why. But, like, that for me was my thing. But, yeah, I mean, God, go look. Yeah, look at his IMDb. It's like, Jesus, mother of God. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like every TV show probably from like the early 80s on, really, like just like, and things like I've never heard of, things that lasted for one season, TV, movies and stuff. Yeah. Like what a career.
This is actually his first time on Barney. He'll come back in the 13th episode of the 8th season. And otherwise that's it. Just 2 appearances. Which is odd because, as we've mentioned many a time, this is a character actor's heaven to be on Barney Miller because you just keep coming back.
Yeah, that's true. But Manu Tupu and Sumant do not come back. But I will say, to your point, the fact that we have more actors of color in the show is welcome because there have been plenty of female and male actors, but not a whole lot of like actors of color, other than obviously Ron Glass. The only one for the most part, it feels like. So
in Manu Tupu, I was looking up his filmography. That guy had been in a whole bunch of stuff for a lot of years. I mean, only quote unquote 32 credits, but he had a long career that stretched back quite a way. So that was pretty interesting looking at his filmography.
He's got a great look to him too. I mean, clearly, if you go and look at his Wikipedia or IMDb, you can see the kind of characters that he was playing at one point in his career, being cast as, he's brown skinned, folks. So play an Indian or an Indian. Yeah. Like, but I love that he's like a diplomat here and he has like a sense, he has like an air of like pretentiousness about him, walks in with that suit and that hair. He looks like, he actually looks a lot like, what it reminded me of is Dr. Zeta Acosta from Fear and Loathing with that hair,
I can see that. Yeah.
You know, like the kind of poofed out hair and then the suit. I was expecting him to be wearing black gloves and then it would have completed the ensemble, but he did look a little like Dr. Gonzo for me. But I love the character that he plays. It's a very interesting character to have walk into the precinct for sure.
Yeah, and just some of it feels like cultural differences, but at the heart of it, that, you know, this episode is called The Slave, and that he basically has an indentured servant who will never get out of servitude. Obviously, that brings up a lot of interesting points, and especially to Harris, which makes a lot of sense. But everybody's pretty mad, especially Wojo, and Wojo's really trying to stick up for the guy.
Wojo's on the warpath in these 2 episodes, big time. And I appreciate that. He's not so much on the warpath in the next episode, but definitely the last episode, and even more so this one, because him and Harris are getting angry together, which is not something that we've really seen a whole lot. Normally, they're kind of like butting heads about things. I mean, you know, I can think of a lot of those opportunities that we've seen where the two of them are kind of at each other's throats about things. But here they're like together, which I appreciate that kind of twist to the storytelling.
Yeah, no, that's really nice. I like, they are like apes. They are stronger together.
Right. Exactly. And I do like the demure character of William New, the chauffeur. I mean, again, like there's a lot of jokes and comedy that they mine from the way his character reacts to things. But I do like by the end of it, it feels like it kind of has a happy ending. I can't really tell though. Like, yeah, because like at the end of the day, they did kind of free this guy from indentured servitude, but now he's just in the United States. Like,
right. He's there without a passport. He doesn't have a job.
And he's like, I'll be fine. I'll land on my feet. And it's like, you know, a year later and this man is homeless. Like, it's just, for me, it was like, it was kind of like that episode where they go and rescue the guy from his apartment that hasn't come out. Then he just actually fucking dies. It's like, hey, I get that they're trying to do good, but they might be doing more harm than good. I don't think that's that here, but there is that like twinge of melancholy where he's like, I don't really have anything, but I'm going to go out into the big city and make my way. And it's like, okay. It's kind of a weird ending, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was, it's an interesting episode. We've got, I believe Luger returns in this one, still talking about Brownie.
Yeah.
Which is nice that we've got the carryover from one episode to the next.
Yeah. It's weird because they didn't really mention them before this season, or was it last season? This is like a thing that Luger's been going on and on about recently, but he hadn't really mentioned them. Like, it's not like he mentioned them the first time we saw him, and it's like you meet Brownie and everything, and they're coming in and out of the precinct. Like, these are dudes that are upstate New York or something is what it seems like. They're like, you know, doing something somewhere after having been on the force. You know, they're up on the farm where the old cops go to die, is what it sounds like.
Out in New Rochelle. Yeah.
Yeah. I love James Gregory in this show. I really do. He even when he's kind of like in the way, which is this the episode where he's in the way, or is the next episode where he's in the way?
Oh boy.
And he keeps like trying to I think it's this one, because at the end he comes in, he's like, "Are all them Burmese fellas out of here?" That's
right.
Yeah. But he's like in the way in this episode, and he's, you know, like at one point he's in Barney's office, and then they go in there, him and Camel do, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to leave." And he's like, "I'll go sit downstairs in the men's bathroom. There's a bench down there."
Right.
And I love that because like he keeps like coming in from, you know, off stage left or right, and then like looking around and being like, well, there's nothing for me to do, and then just wanders back off. And that's a great way to use that character, because in a lot of ways, like when he was being used early on, it was like he was getting in the way of things. Like now it's just comes in, says some stupid or weird things, and then just leaves, you know, with his fedora. He's a slick dresser, I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah. You know who I really liked in this one, and she doesn't have nearly enough screen time, is Peg Shirley as the woman that William New hit with the car. And I love especially when she starts to get into a bidding war to help him get out of his servitude. She can only go up to $3,000 out of $14,000, but yeah, at least she's making an effort.
And then I like the little bit at the end where Barney's like, well, you did bid on him. Do you want to take him home with you? And she's like, no, I have a Filipino.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay. So you were bidding on him, but you're doing the exact same thing. Got it.
Right. Exactly.
I do love the sly sense of humor that this show tends to have about those kind of things. And the title of the episode being The Slave, I get it. I feel like I wanted there to be more of the not serious stuff, but you know what I mean, kind of the musings. And I feel like it was a lot of joke fodder this time around, which is okay. But yeah, this is a strange episode. I feel like of all the cast of people that have wandered into the precinct, a ambassador and his quote indentured servant unquote is a pretty big leap from like just some sex workers that they keep having or like gay men that they keep having to deal with being harassed. That's that's a much more interesting setup, and I think they do it pretty well actually.
Though I haven't seen any gay people other than the very first episode with the gay cop. I haven't seen many gay people. Like, I guess Marty and his boyfriend are out in California.
Yeah, and what's the officer's name? The one that's the gay one?
Zatelli, thank you.
I'm disappointed that we haven't seen him again. Like, yeah, I get it. I mean, I think when we did that episode, I think we looked and it was like he doesn't show up again until the next season or something like that. It's woefully underrepresented. But I was thinking about this when we were talking in the last segment about like, Dietrich dresses up in drag, and then you mentioned Wentworth. That was the only female character of any consequence on this show, and it is weird to me that the show has never added a female character to the precinct.
Well, they had that one, the quote unquote Latina.
Batista?
And then she just disappeared.
Yeah. It's of all the things that are underrepresented in the show, a female cop feels like, now that the show is like, again, 79, 80, transitioning into the 80s, it feels like that would have been a smart addition, like a permanent female cop added into the precinct, or like someone comes in and replaces someone, or they're butting heads with them as an upper up or something. It just that again, like that of all things feels like the lack of representation in the show that really is needed is a little bit of a female voice, other than the female characters being the ones that wander into the precinct as damsels in distress for the most part.
Or, speaking of the next episode, Strip Club, as strippers.
Right,
so,
of course.
Joint, I should say, yes. And here we have some returning actors, I should say. So, Rosanna DeSoto, we've seen her 3 times, including she was a prostitute in that, what was the name of that episode where it was out of the precinct that took place in that apartment building where they were having a siege.
The squatting one, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's that one. Then Diana Canova is on here. Oh, the lovely Diana Canova, not to be a lech, but, we talked a little bit about Soap off the air, and she was just so amazing in Soap. And then she was also in the first nudie musical, which is a big favorite of mine. And she was also on the show before, and here she is back as another stripper. But this one, she's a stripper with a brain of gold because she's going back for, what is it, her doctorate, I think?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, or her master's at least. She's definitely got it going on here. And, well, in many ways. And then I want to say even the guy who makes the complaint about the strip joint.
He has been on the show before.
Yeah. And then
that voice. And he always plays like the same kind of character, right? Like, I am a very angry old Eastern European man. Like, yep, you. Stefan Metterling was one of the characters that he played, Mr. Metterling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Walter Janowitz, and he was in a ton of stuff. And then James Cromwell, he's also been on this show, and here he is back as a government agent who, what is it? Somehow the government is funding the strip club.
No, it's more it's so convoluted. It's so convoluted. It's almost idiot proof. So they found out that somebody was embezzling money from the Department of Energy, and the person who was embezzling money bought a strip joint. And because they took possession of all that guy's possessions, the U.S. government, or more aptly, the Department of Energy, is now in charge of running a strip joint, it is so convoluted. It's idiot proof. It's the premise is hilarious. They don't do enough with it, but James Cromwell is fucking hilarious in this episode. He plays that dickhead government like official so well, but he's also so harried. He's like, do you understand? Yesterday I spent time ordering beer nuts. It's just like, oh my God. But
talking
it's so
about the jokes on the napkins.
Yeah. And it's so funny though. Like he plays the character he needs to play perfectly, and it's James Cromwell, for fuck's sake. Like he's just one of the great character actors. I mean, one of the great actors, period. But like in terms of like being a character actor, he's up there, obviously.
Oh yeah. He's fantastic. That's really the main part of the story. But what I really love is Todd Sussman in here as what's his character's name? Edward Yakel. And he thinks that he's basically trying to eat Kenneth Tiger's lunch. Yeah. He's coming in as a crazy person who says, I have, I might spontaneously combust. Wojo catches him taking a dip in a pond in a fountain, and it's super cold in here. Thank you, says the energy guy, for doing your part, which I really liked. And then there's that whole thing of Barney having the space heater in his. Yeah, it's kind of balmy in here.
Yeah, Ron Carey, that line cracked me the fuck up. It's kind of balmy in here. Or Wojo going, you being cold isn't going to make us warm. Right. Which I also just found to be like, it was like, I couldn't tell if it's meant to be passive aggressive, but it felt kind of passive aggressive. It sure did. It felt very passive aggressive.
So yeah, Sussman comes in here and he's just like, oh, it was burning up. Oh, the fire. And he starts doing the whole thing of like, you know, they put him in the cage. Oh, I'm burning up. And then I love how the trash can immolates, and you know, it's like, oh, see, he's got the power. Whoa, he's a fire starter. I wonder if he smacks his bitch up too.
Yeah, right. I will say though, it seems like they don't have the definition of spontaneous combustion down right, because spontaneous combustion has to do with you exploding, and he is what you're talking about. He is what
he's Morgan, a fast starter.
Yeah, he's what Morgan Shepard's son is in the X-Files. I always think of that X-Files episode where he's like, "Oh, I'm a fire starter." Hey, that fucking British fire starter episode is such a treat, frankly. But I mean, again, like that's what this is. It's not spontaneous combustion, because if it were spontaneous combustion, he would explode. Like that's what what that means.
You just leave a little spot on his drum kit. Yeah,
some feet left with shoes on.
Smoking boots.
Yeah. I will say, though, it goes back to the paranoids with proof thing, right? The Danny Arnold paranoids with proof, because they have this whole scene. And I enjoyed that they actually have this scene where they're like, well, how the fuck did that light on fire? Did you throw your ashes in there? Were you standing over there? And I love, because they haven't really done that in any of these other paranormal supernatural episodes, that Kenneth Tigar thing. They just let him go ape shit in the cell. And they're just like, I guess, was there the thing where it's like, oh, I can feel the succubus. She's here. But again, there was never anything like this where something actually happens. Like, and there's no explanation. There isn't, other than this guy can actually make this happen, which, I mean, again, judging by the way Barney Miller has done things in the past, that's where I come down on what's going on.
Is this where you get your news?
Right.
Is this the forefront of InfoWars for you?
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, so this is another great episode. I think for me, these three have been very solid. I mean, they may not be the best things in the world, but they're definitely not the worst. I think they're just three really solid episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, and even though, you know, this episode kind of has a weird contrived thing about the government owning a strip club, and the strip club story doesn't really end up going anywhere. It almost like serves to exist to further the Todd Sussman plot, because the strippers end up interacting with him and kind of being like, oh, you know, Rosanna DeSoto's like, I'm going to suck that dick, is what she's doing. Like, if you get out of here and you're looking to see what I do, is what she says. Like, here's my card. And I love that, just like the open sexuality of the characters. But boy, Landisberg comes off like a creep in this episode.
Yes, he does.
Oh boy. Like, it's not charming at all. It's like it's a little much, and I can't tell if we're supposed to laugh or not. But I wasn't necessarily laughing. I was just like, man, like you're kind of pushing it just a tad.
Yeah, they are.
Right?
Yeah. There's a fine line there, and I don't know if it's just the year that this is coming out that it's okay to be that aggressive, or just that it's kind of tone deaf.
Yeah, he's very aggressive. I mean, he's not like, hey, want to bang or anything, but it's more just like, well, at my apartment, my apartment's close. And she's like, I'm okay. And he's like, my apartment is close. And it's like, dude, get the fucking hint the first time.
Yeah. But hey, it's Diana Canova. What do you do? Yeah.
I mean, hey, but look, by the end of it, I'm just going to point out that by the end of it, I guess he wore her down enough that she's like, yeah, which again, like, optics of that aren't great, but the kind of the final joke of the episode it serves that, that whole storyline that allows him to have the, and you think you're hot. Landisberg's delivery is fantastic, but you have to have all that kind of creepiness to get to that point, which is unfortunate, but yeah, it is. I would say probably just tone deaf, probably the aggressive sexuality of Steve Landisberg sometimes, because this isn't the first time he's done it, mind you.
No, well, I mean, he's not fucking a nun or anything, but
he was tried to.
He has.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fair. Yeah. God, is this the segment, or is this the episode with Ron Carey talking about the fluctuation in manpower?
Yes. When he comes in, he's giving him their mail and everything, and he's just like lays down the Levitt mail on the Levitt desk, and he's just like, that might be 2 episodes ago, but it's definitely in this run.
Yeah, he's Ron Carey has grown on me for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I still don't like his intro, but otherwise, yeah, he's been great. And I kind of appreciate where he's coming from now, where it's just like, hey, you let me up here sometimes when I go downstairs, just a, big fish in a small pond.
Right. I'm just another peon with a blue shirt when I'm down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm actually glad that it's less about how short he is and more about just his interior inferiority complex, less his exterior inferiority complex. Like I like that he's just very frustrated that he can't just be where he wants to be. And I do think that I think Levitt, deserves to be in the precinct, frankly. Like it is kind of weird that he comes up all the time, because you would think that there's got to be somebody down there who's like, the fuck is Levitt?
Yeah, exactly.
Where is he? Is he up there? Yeah, he's up there again, huh?
I'd kind of like to meet his boss, because Barney's his boss when he's in the, on the 3rd floor or whatever floor it is, but not downstairs. There's somebody he's reporting to.
Right. That's my point. Like, I would like to see that person, because there's no way that person's not like, where is Levitt right now? We need Levitt. And he's just fucking off chortling with his buddies in the 12th precinct. So yeah, no, Ron Carey has grown a lot. He had a lot further of a way to go than anybody else in the show has too. So, and I think certain writers know how to write him better too. The 3 writers who wrote this episode, they haven't done a lot. Right. Like they're not as prolific as some of the other writers, but I liked this version of Levitt quite a bit in this particular episode. He seemed a lot more kind of dialed in to what was going on, and also more self-aware of his kind of position within what was going on.
Yeah, this has been an interesting season so far. I'm seeing there are familiar names that we've seen before, but I'm seeing some where I'm just like, I'm unfamiliar, or they haven't written that much before. So
yeah, because I think the people who wrote this episode wrote the last episode.
On the next episode, when we talk about the bird, that's got a story by 1, 2, 3, 4 people are credited for story, and 2 people for teleplay.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's a lot of Frank Dungan and Jeff Stein.
And what's crazy is Wally Dalton and Shelley Zellman, I like when they write for this show quite a bit. They're like, the 2 of them together are really, I don't know, something about the 2 of them together, whatever the kind of they're bringing to the series, because they've worked on Open House, Middle Age, Toys, The Harris Incident, The Prisoner, and The Accusation. And then this season is the brother, and that's it. And I actually, all of those episodes in season 5, I think those are some pretty good episodes. And, I'm kind of disappointed that they only wrote one this season because, the brother is, I don't think the brother is the best of these 3, but I think you put it best. Like, these 3 are pretty solid. This is a good, like, the show is in its 6th season and it's still kicking out great episodes. Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm curious about. Like, have we hit a plateau? Like, because I'm always afraid that it's going to go downhill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to get better than this, which would be amazing if it did, because I'm already having a great time.
Same.
But I'm wondering if we're just like at a plateau, and if it goes down, when's it going to go down? I mean, hopefully they don't add like a cute kid to this.
Hey, they already tried. It was called Fish.
Oh boy.
John Cassisi just wanders into the precinct all of a sudden.
Oh boy.
I was wondering that too, because I feel like, we're 2 seasons from the end. So theoretically, if you were playing along at home, season 4 and 5 should have been where it peaked, right? Yeah. Like the halfway point, the 2 halfway, the plateau, and then this should have been the downward slide. I haven't seen a drop in quality yet.
No.
Knock on wood, but
I kind of wonder if it's the change in personnel. Like, had Fish and Chano and Nick all stuck around, would it be a different show than it is now? I think so. I think that Landisberg and Carrie bring a different energy to it.
Well, and also, I mean, again, I think it was in between season 5 and 6 where Danny Arnold stepped back as well. And so by having other people, Reinhold Weege and others come in and take over the reins, they were trained by Danny Arnold, quote unquote, but they are still going to do their own thing and they're going to have their own voice. Right. So, I think to your point, it is definitely a casting thing. Like, they lucked out that people left, but also I think they've lucked out by having a nice amount of churn with the people that work like in the back of the show, because if Danny Arnold is training people to do the job and then they come in and are doing it as well or even better than he did, like, double success for him, really. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There have been other shows that are very similar where you get that kind of rotating cast and crew. I mean, thinking about even the show that I watch fairly regularly, Death in Paradise. Of course, the thing is that the main detective switches out every couple seasons, but then really you get the background players switching out as well. It's like, oh yeah, Dwayne's been gone for years now, and now you've got this guy instead, and this woman stepped out a while ago, and now it's this woman instead. So it kind of keeps it fresh, which I wouldn't normally think that I would like that.
Yeah. And I'm with you, because for the most part, whenever I think of a show, like, to use an example that comes to mind, the X-Files, the end of the 5th or 6th season, someone lost their mind and decided, I don't want to pay to David Duchovny anymore. So he left the show, and who comes in but Robert Patrick, fantastic actor, I'm sure you would agree. And people left that show like in droves because they're like, man, no more Duchovny, no give a shit. And like, that show actually has some fantastic episodes in those seasons with Doggett and Reyes. But you have to be willing to go on the journey with the showrunners or the filmmakers or whoever's creating the content. And yeah, we could have been obstinate to the change that this show has been implementing, but I think it does it really well in an organic way. Like, to again mention the X-Files, like, that felt really contrived when he leaves the show. Here, yes, Fish left the show. Yes, Jack Sue passed away, but none of it really felt contrived. Like, even Abe Vigoda leaving didn't feel as contrived as I thought it would feel.
Right.
But yeah, no, like the churn of the cast as well. I do wonder if Chano was still here, what the show would look like. Like, if they would have kind of coalesced into something else, or if it would be worth watching, Yeah.
So on the next episode, we're going to be talking about 3 episodes of Barney Miller: The Bird, The Desk, The Judge. Very simple story titles here.
Came Friends all of a sudden.
Yeah. The one with the bird.
Well, and looking through this season, there are plenty of the somethings. So yeah, the season of Barney Miller with all of the titles.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's not enough there. Yes.
Right. Now they're there.
Well, until we come back and talk about those, Chris, what are you up to?
Just working on podcasting over at weirdingwaymedia.com, where you and I do plenty of monthly and weekly shows. More monthly together, weekly separately, but the Culture Cast, Barney Miller, which you're already listening to, Night Gallery or Midnight Viewing, which is the Night Gallery podcast, Twilight Zone 1985, which is Dreams for Sale. It's all still there, and you can all find all of it at weirdingwaymedia.com. What about you, Mike White?
We covered a lot of stuff. The Shabby Detective is another one that we work on. We're just about to record our next episode of that. And yeah, I do a show called The Projection Booth, which is also available at projectionboothpodcast.com. And yeah, just cranking out a ton of specials lately. Had a lot of good interviews kind of fall into my lap, which is great. And yeah, I'm very excited to be doing that. And even though I keep getting 2-star reviews this week, hopefully that'll turn around. I figure after 12 years, people might start to like the show. Maybe I'm just not wearing them down.
Not negging them enough.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I want to thank John Walker for our theme music, and I want to thank you, yes, you, for listening. And if you do like the show, go on over to iTunes or wherever you get the show, leave a rating, leave a review. That'd be pretty keen of you. Thank you so much for doing that.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.